1991, I flew to Teddy Island. The water's turquoise blue and I'm back wild. Living in a jungle and it looks like Thailand. Everybody's gung-ho, 911 dialing. Met the girl on the plane. Went to Water Island, sweet like sugar cane. The girl was beguiling. Putting lots of gold, you know that I'm styling. Never get...
Welcome to Television Intense TV. I'm your host, Robert Louis Turner I, and today we have a very special episode of Television Intense TV Talk Show Live. We're going to have on a special guest, and he's straight out of Mesopotamia, through way of Constantinople, through Babylonia, right from Istanbul, by way of Outer Mongolia. We got Chris Elliott. Chris, welcome to the show, Chris.
Introduction, like that Johnny Cash song, I've been everywhere, man.
check me. Look up here a little higher. Yeah, now look at my eyes, man. Hey,
Look,
now,
hey.
yeah, look at the camera. I see you. So,
Yeah.
Ronnie Hudson told me to interview you on my show, the Stax record legend himself. So I told him, most indeed, I would. Yes. So.
Well, I love Ronnie. You know, I haven't had nearly the gigs he has, but I moved to Los Angeles 6 or 7 years ago, and great bass player needs himself some horns. And I'm like this in-shape trumpet player. I'm not like one of LA's finest, but
Right.
you know, I'm at it hour and a half every day, and I have a lot of respect for the singers and other musicians that I play with, so I carry my end. And what a trumpet player needs to do is have a big fat sound, nail it, keep the mistakes to a minimum, maybe take a solo 2 per set.
Right.
And that's what I do with Ronnie. And he tells me personally that he digs my sound. And
Nice.
that's one of the musical compliments I
That's a
have,
big
so.
compliment. And I also hear that you're a writer. You've written some screenplays and some. I finished my first novel. It took me a week to read it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I heard you write some screenplays and such.
Writing is probably my primary gift. I have a degree in it, and it's been my profession, writing for newspapers and writing technical support manuals for software developers, and most recently marketing copy for Guitar Center, which is beautiful. So I know saxophones and trumpets, and I write about saxophones and trumpets for a really big company. So it's a great gig. But I also have always written aspirationally, and I finished a novel this year, and I'm just starting to seek agency representation on that. So I'm my finger crossed on that.
And what school did you go to?
I went to Yale University.
Yale. Okay, that's pretty good. Not bad, right? That'll work.
Correct. Well, it's a conversation starter, and you know, it was
Yale.
amazing.
That's the best.
You're hanging around with anything that you want to do in that place, surrounded by young people who are as excited and as talented as you are, and it was a great experience.
Boy, howdy, that's like one of the best schools you could be at, right?
I feel really blessed. You know, my grandfather, my grandmother left me a trust that paid for most of it, and
Nice.
my father, who died young, was a Yale graduate. He got there on scholarship out of Arkansas.
Right.
So I got there on most of the scholarship out of Brattleboro, Vermont. And, you know, since then, I've tried to live a life of creativity between playing trumpet, writing songs, being a singer for rock bands, and writing books.
My mom's from Arkansas. She just passed away on Valentine's Day, so we're looking at that trust, another trust as well. You know. Anyway, something in the works, but yeah, I took trumpet, but I flunked. I got like an F in trumpet in 3rd grade because I was playing all the notes, and the teacher said, "Well, that's extremely incredible. That's fantastic." He goes, "You're playing every note," and he goes, "And you're not looking at the paper." I couldn't read music, so he gave me an F. Yeah, he said, because I was copying what all the other kids were doing, but I played by ear.
Cool.
You know, so
What'd you end up playing? Like guitar, probably.
I like keyboards and electric guitar and stuff, and harmonica and mandolin and violin and banjo and 4-string, 5-string. 4-string's the better, banjo and stuff. It's fun. But yeah.
Cool.
if you can hook up with Ronnie Hudson and do that trumpet, that would be bad, right? Yeah.
Well, Ronnie and I do a few different gigs together. Sometimes he runs into these society weddings, let's just say,
Right.
just real legit zip codes, and
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
these super tasty gigs, and tuxedo and the whole works, and
Mm-hmm.
and he knows these super singers and real professional $1,000 a night singers around here, professionals. They end up on movie soundtracks and back vocal on hit records, and so Ronnie knows all these people. So
Oh yeah.
when you stumble into a client who's gonna foot a bill on like that,
Right.
he has me swinging, he has me punching out of my weight, and he gives me those gigs, and it's fantastic, and I'm really grateful.
That's
that
cool. He's cooler than the other side of the pillow, So, boy, howdy.
No kid. That's a nice way to put it.
And
Good
guy.
He also, and he'll also do like a no money down and out, slug it out Tuesday blues down. And it doesn't matter to him.
No, he's down to earth,
Great show.
And for those who don't know, who Ronnie Hudson is, he's a Stax record legend. He eat dinner with Elvis Presley and stuff, and hang out with those cats Isaac Hayes and on their albums, and every album ever, and every soundtrack, like 48 different movies, whatever, and wrote the song Tupac's California Love. He wrote that song, which was a hit in 1982 under West Coast Pop Lock, and then they renamed it 10 years later, 13 years later.
That's not the only tune where people grabbed some measures out of West Coast Pop Lock, too.
Right.
So, it was just the perfect tempo and the perfect sound for the perfect feel, perfect time. And, great producers like Dre and Snoop Dogg, they heard it.
Right.
They heard it right away. And because Ronnie's such an experienced musician, he had good paper on all of it. And I guess they're friendly, and everything's cool.
Yeah. Because I heard it on the radio in 1982, and then I guess maybe, 13 years later, they remixed it, with Dre and Snoop, like you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we collide. And man, I love cats. You put it in a restaurant metaphor. He can either be the maitre d' or the dishwasher.
Right.
He doesn't care if it's a lousy, crappy gig. If the club owner loves the blues, he will play his No Money Tuesday and see if he can get something going.
Right.
Or, if it's a red carpet, just the most schmoozy gig you could get, he fits everywhere.
He's comfortable.
He's a
cat. You guys should come up here to the Napa Valley and do some celebrity weddings up here, in the Napa Valley, Cali. Got about 500 wineries in a row,
He's a great fit. He lets me blab on the microphone once in a while. He knows I got a way around a joke.
Yeah.
So that's the trumpet. I'm recently retired, and I went from practicing every day, not much, like half hour, to I'm trying to get 2 hours in every day, trying to be more serious, trying to open up my top end and just get a little more power. And I'm ready right now.
Now this screenplay. Tell me a little bit about the premise for the storyline.
Well, it's a novel. It's a
novel. It's a book. It's not a screenplay yet, but it could be made into a screenplay.
Absolutely.
Right?
Here's the basics of it.
Okay.
It's completed, and when I was first done with it about 3 months ago, it was 124,000 words.
Right.
And I ran it by a professional editor, and on basis of a 30-page report that she gave me, I have busted it down to 82,000 words, and it is a lean, mean plot machine.
Right.
So, the basic thumbnail is 7 Irish brothers in 1914. Franz Ferdinand is murdered in Sarajevo, and it looks like the start of World War I. And these are 7 boys from 18 to 22. Their mother knows that England is going to be part of the Triple Entente, and they'll be conscripting Irish teenagers to go into the most hopeless hamburger military missions.
Right.
So it's get on the plane, get on the boat, and we'll see you later.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 Irish boys land at Ellis Island. They make their way to southern New Hampshire. They open up the first Ford dealership in the state of New Hampshire.
Right.
And this has elements of truth. And in a kind of predictable irony, 3 of them get drafted into World War I anyway. Wilson,
right?
Right. And then one of them is gay. 2 of them are brutally alcoholic.
Right.
It's just kind of watching the perfect Irish American family.
I think all of us Irish are brutally alcoholics, but basically.
Yeah. Well, instead of 2 of them became brutally alcoholic, 5 managed to keep a lid on it.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and that's kind of where it's at.
Right.
It's a single generation, a multi-continent story about family and what a human being deserves, what they end up getting, and what the difference is between what they deserve and what they get. And all the history is beautifully researched. It's called The Undeserving. And I'm looking for agency representation right now.
And how many pages is that one?
Well, it's about what a first-time novelist ought to be aiming at. I mean, if a first-time novelist drops this freaking War and Peace on an editor's desk,
right.
and behold, prepare thyself to deal with a miracle. It's like, no, thank you. Why don't you give me a nice, tight something you might buy in an airport bookstore?
Yeah,
it's like going to be like 300 pages, 325.
Right.
Somewhere in there.
Could read it on the plane.
Yeah. If certainly like Boston to LA, going against the wind, you could probably read the whole thing.
Now, who were when you were coming up? Who were your like role models or heroes or mentors or had an influence on your life musically and also creatively, as well?
I think
or both.
The chief artist, that the person I saw who lived so perfectly was probably David Bowie.
Right.
Because what he did was create worlds that were apart from the ones that we lived in.
Right.
And then he would just walk into those worlds and occupy them for some amount. And then he would tire of them, Ziggy Stardust. Well, enough of that.
Yeah.
And create what he might do. And he just did it.
Reinvent himself, maybe.
Yeah. And in such colorful and magnificent ways.
I think I saw him on Soul Train and one of the first white guys to go on Soul Train, right, in the early 70s. And they're like, so how is it you write this soul music? And they're asking him, on what's his name, Cornelius, and such, right, And everybody was real interested in this soul artist that was from England and paler than a piece of paper, So
yeah, he played pretty mean saxophone.
Right.
All the sax work on Young Americans. I think that might be some Dave Sanborn, but a lot of the sax band that you hear on Bowie records is David himself.
Right.
Oh, there's that. And I liked, when I was a little kid, I liked Anybody Nuts. Alice Cooper, believe it or not, blew my mind. I remember I had the killer calendar that came with the Alice Cooper Killer. It was him hanging by a rope, generally red, and then the 12 months of the year. So you leave that thing up in your dorm room, all year long.
Right.
I liked the Tubes. I liked, anything scary, freaky, weird.
The Tubes were good. Quaalude was the head of that, right?
Yeah, all of that.
White Punks on Dope or something like that. They wrote, didn't they write that?
Yeah. My high school band director wasn't much a jazz guy, so I was a little late on some of that. Kind of fortunately, I got kind of kicked out of my prep school, and I finished up at my hometown high school and did very well there.
Right.
And turned down by a great band leader who was more of like a disciplined military guy. Still, I didn't have exposure to jazz. I was high school, but at least I had to hold up my end, and it was important. And he'd say, "It's not always fun, Elliott. Shoulders back, stand up straight."
Yeah.
Needed. And he was pretty great, Mr. Simons. And when I got to college, I sneaked in the back door of the University Jazz Ensemble, met the great Willie Ruff, and my roommate Alan turned me on to Roland Kirk and Miles Davis, and that's when I started to freak out on what you can do with the trumpet.
Miles Davis. I like that Herbie Hancock a lot when I was in high school. Too. Herbie Hancock, Miles Davis,
so many different Herbie Hancocks,
maybe Spiral
the
Gyro.
electric records. When we were in high school, the electric records like Rocket.
Yeah, Rocket was yeah.
But then, he dropped back into the acoustic roots where he was working with Freddie Hubbard
Right.
and Ron Carter and Tony Williams, the VSOP quintets, really respecting the classic quintet
Yes.
jazz instrumentation. And so I love it all. I mean, I can't even approach legitimate jazz music as a as a performer. I'm not that kind of 2 chords a minute and tempos like this.
Yeah.
Improvise. Like I said before, you need a big fat sound, keep the clams to a minimum.
Yeah.
My Bobby, my motto, the few words I live by, try not to make the singer turn around.
Right.
How you like it? They'll
Nice.
probably call you if you
Right.
don't do that.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And we got about, I'd say, 10 minutes left, so we still got a little bit of time. We're good for a 30-minute show, so we're doing well. We don't have to cut anything back or trim anything down.
If I can tell you one thing, another thing I do is I write songs. And do you know my friend Chad Watson?
No, I'm not sure.
He's a wonderful producer here in LA, and we just finished this here record. If
Wow. We could promote
shameless
that, yeah.
Called Mike Patted the Bees.
Is it upside down? No.
Is it? It sure
I'm just messing with you. No.
is.
Mike Patted the Bees. I love it.
But
Nice.
what it is, it's I'll share. It's had a big family tragedy. It was kind of me working through it this year.
Right.
So there's some heavy material on it.
Sure.
But you can find it on Bandcamp. My name is Christopher Dean Elliott.
Christopher Dean Elliott on
Bandcamp or
Bandcamp.
CD Baby.
CD Baby, yeah. And we won't name any prices, but that's where you can get it at. That's the place to go. That's the place to be. CD Baby.
And all those places you can listen to 30 seconds of the tune.
Sure.
I got really good people to help me with it. This guy, Chad Watson, played the bass and the acoustic
Yes, sir.
guitar. Super special fiddle player named Craig Eastman. Just a beastly all over it. And,
Nice.
The whole thing has a thematic of going from sorrow to redemption without it being a big boo-hoo kind of thing. It's about getting...
I love the artwork on there, too. It's like, who did that artwork, man?
Really important to me because it's my wife's sister.
Okay.
Everything, every person on it is a friend.
Right.
Every image was created by someone dear to me. So it's got a really good familial kind of feel. You can feel it just messing around with the material.
A lot of friends have contributed to in different ways, artistic ways. Then, yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna go to a recording studio with you remember the Chambers brothers, those guys, right?
I do.
Well,
Really?
Lester Chambers, his son is Dre Chambers. He's got a couple of little recording studios in Oakland, in Jack London Square, and also in Vallejo. So I'm gonna go over there tomorrow and drop a couple tracks, or drop one track, at least in the studio, something real quick,
Okay.
tomorrow.
So he's in music?
Yeah, he's
Dre
a producer, Dre, Johnson, Chambers. So I'll sign a contract. I'm going to run it by my entertainment attorney first, and then I'll probably end up signing a little contract, tomorrow. So
You have
Wednesday.
a tune ready to go?
Yeah, I've got like a couple hundred songs written, but I've only recorded about 11, so I got plenty of
You
material.
got something picked out that you got your eye on that you think might go well?
He does. He says, he knows more than I do about platinum and stuff, right? So I'm like, I just do what I want, what I enjoy or feel like doing, I mean, whatever I enjoy doing, that's all. I'm just a hobby. And he said, no, this is not a hobby, he says. And I'm like, yeah, that's a hobby. It's like, so yeah.
So is he a hip hop producer?
No, he does a lot of R&B and stuff like that, but I want to do hip hop, which he usually doesn't do, So yeah, and see, I got my larynx crushed in a fight, my oldest brother, so I lost my falsetto. I can't hit high notes and stuff. it's a lot easier to just do some hip hop or some rap. If I do some kind of ballads or something, I need to drop it down a couple because of my falsetto is gone after my eldest brother crushed that larynx, you know, right? Took me out like yesterday's garbage, right? You know. So.
You know how to throw a punch, Bobby?
I do now because yeah, because he busted it twice. I ended up in the hospital, and then if you don't use your talents, you lose your talents. Because before he busted up my shoulder, so then I couldn't play guitar or keyboards. So I thought, well, I could still sing. No, taking that out too, right? So now, well, I could still rap or do some hip hop. And I was like, what's next? You know, so I don't know. But he's 74, but he's stronger than I am. I know that. Right?
I hope you guys find your peace.
No, he's my favorite brother, believe it or not. If you can imagine that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what the other brothers are like, right?
Very complicated.
He's my favorite. I love him. He's my favorite brother. Yeah, yeah. So, and you can imagine what the other brothers are like. So, if he's the best, you can imagine what the worst, right? So we got probably about 7 minutes left or so. We got a little bit of time. We can do.
Okay.
We can do.
There's another thing, Bobby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna disappear from the screen for about 3 seconds.
You got it.
Oh, you can't have dead air. That's the rule.
I'll allow that. 1001, 1002. There he is.
And it's this
That was
freaking
quick.
thing.
Yes, sir.
Potty mouth.
Yeah. I heard about that. That's right.
Heard about potty mouth?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it when we were talking on the phone the other day, right? Christopher Elliott.
Yeah.
Christopher Dean Elliott.
Christopher Dean Elliott.
And is this on CD Baby as well?
This is on CD Baby, and it's available at Bandcamp. And it's
Bandcamp.
by some people's measure, not my best work. By others, it's my best work.
Right. Everybody's got their opinion, right? You know,
yeah, there are a couple that go a little over the line. Naturally, called Potty Mouth.
Yes. We got to get
some.
We got to get that little parental guidance suggested little sticker in the corner up in there, right?
The single from it is "I deleted my porn for you." The new standard.
That's funny.
Pop songs because it really takes some commitment. To,
that is quite a great what do you call it? Sacrifice.
It is.
So,
it is. You know, and that's where marriage starts. You know, it's a mutual sacrifice, and that's one of his. So other songs, they're all whores but you, ma. And
that was great.
Also, we just want to F you. Song about their relationship.
It goes
on and on.
We just want to fuck you, people. That's right. And that's it, basically.
Get your ass up as a sing along, and you know it's a good time.
So we got 4 minutes left. You want to do any shout outs to anybody special out in the TV audience or worldwide? This will be live streaming worldwide in a couple months. It'll be worldwide today as well. It'll also be on Channel 99 Uverse in the Bay Area, Channel 28 in the Valley, Calistoga through almost to Vallejo. So, and then, but in an hour, I should have this up on YouTube, Pinterest, Google, Twitter, Facebook, and all that, you know.
Send me a link to some of that.
I shall.
Just merveilleux.
Yeah.
So I would like to stress that Chad Watson has absolutely nothing to do with the Potty Mouth record.
Right.
And
yeah.
Also,
he's not associated with that at all.
If you need a swing band in the San Francisco Bay Area, you got to check out Lee Pressa and the Nails. Lee Pressa and the Nails are a good time in the Bay Area. So that's a quick one for them. And beyond that, you know, thank you to my old rock and roll band from the 80s called The Substance from New England, and they're still relevant. So peace, love to everybody, and a special thanks to my wife, who seems to enjoy watching all this stuff go down.
That's cool, and we got about 3 minutes, so I will let you go. I gotta thank my sponsors for the show and my guests and everybody. So thank you for being on the show, Chris. We'll have to do this again real soon.
Cheers.
Thank you, boss. So, pretty much guests of the television show stay in altered states. Transportation provided by Space Shuttle. We'd like to thank our guest, Chris Elliott, on the show today. Yeah. Recommended by Stax record legend Ronnie Hudson. And we want to thank our sponsor, Sal the Flower Guy. Brings these flowers in every freaking week, right? And also, Hair in Motion. Doc's Trophy Shop provides the music awards for our show every damn time. Emmy Lou's Diner down in River Park. You know where that is, right? So pretty much we got headshots for all the guest autograph. They could sell that on eBay. Everybody in the live studio audience gets a new car. It's not a very big car, but it's a new car. It's brand new. It's a new car. And pretty much, God bless you and yours. And we're out of here.
In 1991, I flew to Delhi Island. The water's turquoise blue and I'm back wild. Living in a jungle and it looks like Thailand. Everybody's gung-ho, 911 dialing. Met the girl on the plane. Went to other islands, sweet like sugar cane. The girl was beguiling. Putting lots of gold, you know that I'm styling. Never gets cold, emerald green on a white sand island. You are beautiful to me. Deadly island. Turquoise water, sapphire seas. Went into business with Freddie and the birds, taking pictures with the tourists, making money absurd. Freddie got shot, Freddie's dead, you heard. Right through the heart, and then he said his last words. Me copy Musin was that.